Hey everybody, it's Randy Wolfe. Hope you're having a great day. Welcome back to the video series. So this is video number 6. If you haven't seen the previous videos, be sure to watch them so you can get all caught up. But today we're going to be talking about finding deals. And great deals aren't just sitting on Zillow waiting for you to find them. They're hidden, and today I'm going to show you exactly where to look and how to find them, even if you've never done a deal before. These are the deals that can build real wealth. So let's dive in. Off-market properties aren't listed on the MLS. That's why they're referred to as off-market. That means that fewer eyeballs and way less competition is seeking to try to buy those deals, and less competition usually means better prices, better terms, and more flexible sellers. You're not fighting against, say, 15 other investors or home buyers, and you can negotiate directly with the seller. You can build rapport, and you can create a win-win solution. Now, these are the deals that can lead to big spreads on flips and really strong cash flow on rentals. So one way you can find off-market deals is by doing something called driving for dollars. Now, driving for dollars is exactly what it sounds like, right? You drive through neighborhoods looking for properties that look neglected or run down. You can look for things like tall grass, boarded up windows, peeling paint, overflowing mailboxes, or even in some situations you can see where there's major damage like tarps on the roofs. And these are visual clues that the owner might be struggling, or that the property might even be vacant. And you can use different software when you do this. You can use DealMachine to tag an address. You can use PropStream. As I've said before, I use PropStream a lot. And if you're interested in a 7-day trial, I'll put the link in the description below for PropStream. And that way, when you drive, you can literally have it right on your phone and just mark it as you find a property. Or you can just go old school. You can write down the address. You can skip trace the owner, and you can give them a call. It's a really low cost, super targeted way of going and finding off-market deals. And the thing about it is, it works in almost every single market. The next way you can find off-market deals is through direct mail campaigns. I've used direct mail campaigns for many years in previous businesses. My insurance agency, we've done a lot with direct mail, and I use it as well in real estate investing too. It's one of our strategies that we use. Now, direct mail might feel a little bit old school, but when it's done right, it's still a very high performing strategy. It's all about sending the right message to the right person at the right time. You want to target lists like absentee owners, probate properties, pre-foreclosures, or as I talk about in another video, tired landlords. Be sure to check that video out if you get a chance. But these people are often more motivated to sell, especially if you're offering a quick, hassle-free solution. It's kind of like the easy button. You know, you're there, you can offer them an easy solution, and they're interested in talking to you about it. You can keep your message very simple. If you're going to do like a little letter or something like that, you could just say, "Hi, I'm interested in buying your property, no commissions, cash offer, quick close," that sort of thing. Handwritten or unique looking mail stands out and often gets a better response rate. So if you can have an actual handwritten address or an actual stamp, that's going to get you a better response rate than something that's generated by a computer and maybe looks like spam or junk mail, that sort of thing. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button right now before you forget, and turn on the notifications. I'm dropping videos every week to help you get your first deal or build long-term wealth through real estate. And if you want to access my actual template scripts, mentorship, lead lists, weekly deal review, and be sure also, if you have not watch these other videos in the series. They're very valuable. They kind of go in a sequence, so you want to make sure you do that. And lastly, I'll tell you real quick about the community. If you want access to templates and scripts and mentorship and weekly deal reviews and all of those things, be sure to check out my private community in the description below. I'll leave that link. It's where we go really deep. The next way you can find off-market deals is through using wholesalers. Now, wholesalers are in the trenches every single day finding off-market deals. They're negotiating directly with the motivated sellers, and they're assigning the contracts to investors just like you. Now, you can find them at real estate meetups, on Facebook Marketplace, investor groups, all these things. You can search "We Buy Houses" and then put your city, and they may have websites. Once you find a few, ask to be added to their buyers list. But here's the key: not all wholesalers are created equal, okay? Ask how they came up with the ARV and repair cost. Always be sure to run your own numbers. you can trust, but make sure you're verified. In the previous one of the videos in this series, we talk about exactly how to run your numbers. So wholesalers can be a good source to use. I definitely think it's a good idea to learn how to source your own deals, but particularly when you're getting started, wholesalers can be great. And there are really good wholesalers out there. If you find the right one, they can really help you explode your business. The next way you can actually find off-market deals is through agents and contractors. They tend to know things quickly and sort of before things hit the market oftentimes. Some agents specialize in distressed properties, expired listings, pocket listings, and these are deals that haven't hit the MLS yet. You can get first crack at them if you're building relationships. Contractors, they're another great hidden source I talk about in another video. Oftentimes they walk into homes where the seller decides not to fix anything and they just want out. They can send you leads that way. Be sure to treat your agent and your contractors like gold. Check in regularly, let them know what kind of properties you're looking for, and be ready to move fast whenever they send you something. If you can build credibility and let them know that you're serious and you are very responsive and you stay in touch and you stay top of mind, you can definitely find deals using agents and contractors. So definitely don't sleep on that. Another place you can find off-market deals is online. So you can look at things like PropStream, batch leads. These are data power tools that you can use. They let you build custom lists based on equity, ownership link, distress indicators, and a whole lot more. As I said before, I've got the links I'll put in the description below for batch, and I'll also put PropStream's link in the description below. You can find things like pre-foreclosures, code violations, high equity, absentee owners. You can filter down to like exact zip codes, that sort of thing. Once you have a list, you can start marketing it directly to those owners. You can use direct mail, or you can skip trace them and call them, that sort of thing. Facebook Marketplace, that's another creative lead source. You'd be surprised how many sellers post their property there. Sometimes they're just desperate. They just really need to sell their property. Sometimes they're off market, and oftentimes investors will post their deals on Facebook Marketplace. So it can be a little bit of a sketchy place. Sometimes I post deals on there, and just dealing with some of the sketchy people can be a headache, but it is a place where you can find off-market deals. Another place you can find off-market deals is via cold calling and texting. This is a very budget-friendly and scalable thing you can do. Cold calling and SMS marketing are still working in 2005. Now, this is a super budget-friendly way that you can source deals. Cold calling and SMS marketing are still actually working to some degree in 2025. There's a lot of regulations coming out as far as with texting, and phones are now finding ways to block a lot of texts that are going through. So you have to make sure you do it properly. There's all sorts of different strategies I won't get into on this video, but the fact is there's some of the cheapest ways to generate leads and to get in front of motivated sellers. You can start by pulling a small list from PropStream, skip tracing the numbers and dialing them yourself, or you can outsource this to a trained virtual assistant. The key is you want to make sure you have consistency, and you want to make sure you're using a very good solid script. You don't need to be a sales expert. You just need to be clear, confident, and consistent with the follow-up. One of the things about cold calling is that you want to be able to get a lot of no's out of the way, so to speak, so you can get to the yes. You want to be able to have a very quick, to the point script asking if they're interested in selling their home. Then if they say yes, or they engage in conversation, then that's when you can take the conversation further. Just be careful with the guidelines, the DNC, and all of those things out there. Just make sure you're cautious with how you approach this. Have you ever been driving down the road and you see a sign that says "We buy houses" on the side of the road, like one of those little yard signs? That's what's called a Bandit sign, and they still actually do work in a lot of markets. When you're driving down the roads, "We buy houses fast," and the phone number. They may look really simple, but they still work, especially in suburban and rural markets. You can place them in high traffic intersections or in neighborhoods where you've seen distressed homes. Just be sure to check your local sign ordinances. Some cities have very strict rules and fines about this. Other cities are a little more lax about it. They're cheap, and they're direct, and it gets the phone ringing if you place them in the right place. One of the last places that you can find off-market deals is through referrals, friends, family, fellow investors. This is one of the most overlooked strategies, and it just letting people know what it is that you're doing. Tell your friends, tell your barber, tell your coworkers, tell your cousin's dog walker, whoever, that you buy houses. Deals come from relationships. I talk on this channel about how I bought 8 houses at one time with no money out of pocket, no down payment whatsoever, and that was a deal from a relationship. So you never know who has a neighbor, an uncle, a friend with a property that they need to sell fast. Offer a referral fee, stay top of mind, and over time these leads will actually start coming to you if you continue to keep top of mind with those people. The next thing you really need to do in order to find off-market deals is to follow up like a pro. The fortune is in the follow-up. Many deals come from, follow-ups, and they'll come from your 5th, 6th, or even 8th time contacting the person. That's why you need a really good system. You need a CRM. All right, a CRM is basically where you keep everything. There's tons of them. There's RE Simply, there's Podio. I got a good buddy of mine. He owns a software system, a CRM called Pete. You could even use for free Google Sheets if you're just really getting started out. Set reminders and follow up consistency, because motivated sellers, they often choose the person who stays in front of them and they build trust with over time. So often they are not going to sell you their property the first time you talk to them. This is a really big deal, but if you continue to maintain rapport and you talk to them and you follow up, then there's a higher likelihood that they actually will sell their property to you. All right, now you know where to find great off-market deals, but what happens when someone raises their hand and says, yes, I'm ready to sell? Well, in the next video, I'll show you exactly how to make offers, negotiate like a pro, and lock up the deals without overpaying. This is where it gets real, and you definitely don't want to miss it. As always, I appreciate you watching this video, and I'll see you on the next one.